Welcome to Armchair Devs, Kiwami. Armchair Devs is a series where contestants gather to reboot or continue renowned gaming franchises. But in this episode of Kiwami, not only do our contestants have no idea what franchise they're rebooting, the franchises aren't renowned at all. The fate of our contestants will be decided by these wild cards. This is Armchair Devs Kiwami. Platform mascots. I am your host, Mr. Feel, patriarch of the Feel family, a GigaBoots subsidiary. With me are today's contestants, Dan and Bob Video Games of GigaBoots.com.
Hello. You see that game pitch? You can fuck another man while you make that game pitch.
KZ Excellent of KZExcellent.com.
I'm optimistic about game pitches.
And the always terrifying Dr. Aggro.
I'm optimistic about getting away with stealing this bit.
Now, Armchair Devs is a show where contestants are given a game series or genre and instructed to come up with a pitch for a revival or just the next game in the series or just a game in the genre. And Armchair Devs Kiwami is the same concept, but with contestants given no preparation time, because Kiwami means extreme.
I've heard that before.
Today on Armchair Devs Kiwami, we have a special concept. Traditionally on this show, we have resurrected dead but beloved franchises like Tony Hawk, Star Ocean, and Pilot Wings, or pitched new entries in healthy series like Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts. But not today. Today we will attempt to revive franchises beloved by no one and sought out by nobody. Of course, it wouldn't be fair to arbitrarily, or in this case randomly, pick a dead, pathetic franchise and revive it. I hold in my hand the deck of fate. Upon the face of each card in this deck is the name of a pathetic, miserable corpse of a franchise. For each contestant on today's show, I will draw a card and they will be given a franchise to revive. At the climax of the episode, one franchise will be reborn and the others cast into oblivion. And now we must draw the cards of fate to know which platformer mascot each person will be tasked with attempting to bring back from the dead. First, I will draw a card for Bob Video Games.
I'm excited.
Bob Video Games, the card I have drawn for you is Jazz Jackrabbit.
Great.
Very good.
You.
Dan Video Games.
Yes.
The card I have drawn for you is Croc.
That really is a croc.
KZ Excellent. Nobody has gotten a grenade yet. There's some fucking grenades in this deck.
Oh, man. Shuffle good.
I did shuffle. I shuffled very well. I shuffled for 20 minutes. KZ, your card, Blasto.
No!
The guy's dead. So I'm going to bring Phil Hartman back for the bed, dead, using machine learning and uncanny valley CGI.
I'm gonna fucking die.
And the last but not least, Dr. Aggro.
Big money, no whammy, no whammy.
Dr. Aggro gets the grenade and is tasked with rebooting Booger Man.
Oh, shit.
Now we will give our contestants 3 minutes to try and build a body out of the corpses I laid before them. To try and build a platform, hoist the corpse up onto it, lift it up in the lightning storm, and try and get something going. You contestants have 3 minutes to come up with something starting now.
What a crock of shit. I'm so not pleased.
I'm so fucked. I don't really know what Blasto is besides Phil Hartman being dead.
It's okay. You can watch 3 minutes of a long play.
Very exciting. You're right. I'm on it. Oh no, it's 5 hours.
It's It's okay watching fast forward. I hear it's good to watch anime and fast forward, so a long play is about the same thing. They're basically anime.
Oh man, the frame rate's higher when I do that.
1 minute. I hope you're waiting on that lightning bolt.
I am the lightning.
I've turned to dust.
No, you are the lightning in the storm.
Now it's my turn to pitch you, feel.
And time. Well, it's time to get into our elevator pitches. Normally, elevator pitches on a normal Armchair Dev show are 30 seconds. On Armchair Dev Kiwami, they are only 20 seconds, so the audience doesn't fall into the yawning chasm of silence. As the contestants struggle to try and fill 30 seconds with whatever skeleton they put together in the previous 3 minutes. And why? Let's start with our guest, Dr. Agro. You get to give your elevator pitch for your reboot of the great series that got a Kickstarter and failed because nobody actually wants to come back. The great series, Booger Man. I believe the subtitle, A Flick and Pick Adventure. Or A Pick and Flick Adventure.
Mm-hmm.
You have 20 seconds whenever you start talking.
In our updated spiritual successor, Booger Man, A Pick and Flicks Adventure, delivered on the Netflix Choose Your Own Adventure platform, we have taken a beloved 90s mascot character and put his rather perverse and crude sense of humor to better purpose in an educational video game experiment in order to teach kids body fluid safety in an ever-increasingly dangerous modern society.
A little bit over, but we'll take it.
Jesus.
Dan, what crock of shit did you come up with to reboot Croc?
Croc Gobbler, the project title as it's currently called, is going to be headed by director Dylan Cuthbert and made by Q Games. It's going to have a Pixel Junk Monsters art style and lean towards more of a modern Yoshi feel, with the joy of collecting things and the cute vignettes between levels being the aim. We're aiming this at next-gen consoles and PC, and it'll support VR to fully immerse you in the beautiful landscape with a soundtrack made by Stuart Copeland.
Time. A little bit over. We're good. Bob.
Jazz Jackrabbit
for
5. Oh no! I am still talking. Jazz Jackrabbit 5 is gonna. It's made by Insomniac Games. We're gonna have a crossover with Fortnite.
Is that it?
Look, I was starting to. I was cut off, but I totally lost my entire train, so I can't go.
I'm gonna call Mulligan on this. That seems.
Okay, Bob, we'll let you mulligan as soon as KZ gives his. KZ, 20 seconds to talk about Blasto as soon as you start talking.
Blasto is back and better than ever in this time-bending reboot of the classic platformer. Play as Captain Blasto Jr. as you return to the past to meet his late father. As you jump and blast your way across dozens of wacky levels, a dog is in this game. This is Blasto Days of Future Bazinga.
Oh,
A dog is in this game.
I have a... Thank you, KZ. I have an unbelievably tragic vision of where your pitch is going.
So do I.
Bob, it's time for your mulligan. As soon as you start talking, you will have 20 seconds.
Jazz Jackrabbit 5 is a 3D platformer third-person shooter in the vein of Ratchet and Clank, mixing the speed of Sonic the Hedgehog, and has a Fortnite crossover for its multiplayer campaign. I really didn't have much else.
And that's 20 seconds. Somebody fell in that yawning chasm and broke their neck. I hope they had insurance. Well, with your elevator pitches out of the way, I think I learned a lot. Only one of them makes me worried and afraid, but I think we're going to get through this. Now it is time for questions.
Oh.
KZ,
Yes.
is Blasto Jr. voiced by Jim Parsons?
No, he's not. He is not voiced by Jim Parsons. He's voiced by Neil Patrick Harris.
Oh, thank fucking God. That's so much better. When you said Bazinga, I was like, fucking Jim Parsons.
No, we want to trick people into thinking that.
See, our marketing is to get you to not buy the game.
I don't know if you know this. You know, Big Bang Theory is very popular.
With boomers.
That's the only conceivable people who would buy this game.
Fair enough. Dan. Tell me about the adorable vignettes in your game.
Okay, so if you've played games such as the legendary Spyro series, we're going to take a little bit of inspiration from that. So when you enter a new world, you get to see a funny, cute vignette that introduces you to the locals that you're going to have to deal with on this new level. It's going to have this incredibly beautiful, high-fidelity style that you associate with Pixel Junk Monsters 2 specifically. It is 3D. And it involves some slapstick and some other humor. It's gonna do a really good job of mixing the British sensibilities of Dylan Cuthbert with the Japanese practical humor. It'll be a nice cross section of comedy that works itself out in a mostly visual style.
Okay. Dr. Aggro. Give me some of the episode titles of this Choose Your Own Adventure show.
Well, I mean, like it's only going to have 2 main chapters for the first batch. I mean, there's several smaller videos inside for the branching paths, but the first one is going to be called Rags to Stitches, as Snotty Ragsdale has to sit at home and sew up his own costume rather than risk going to a large department store with an enormous crowd to purchase it. The second main episode is going to be called Excrement Gonna Give It To You, which is, I don't know if you know, but Dimension Excrement is an extraplanar reality in the Boogerman lore.
Yeah.
Oh.
Absolutely. It's where the Boogermeister is from.
Right. It's where Professor Stinkbaum was attempting to teleport all of the world's pollution. It is in this second episode we get our series main antagonist, very tiny insectoid looking germs, collectively referred to as the Kung Flu, who attempt to knock out healthy people's immune systems with karate chops.
Sounds very good. I'm kind of stunned.
I thought Aggro would be good at pulling something out of his ass.
And lastly, Bob,
What's up?
tell me some of the weapons I'll be wielding in Jazz Jackrabbit 5.
Okay. Well, you're going to have a grappling hook gun to move around the environments. It's all going to have a very cyberpunk look to it. The grappling gun is also a shotgun. So it like latches onto things and then you shoot them while you're up close. And there's also going to be a gravity alterating gun. So you can walk on walls using this gun. And you can also cause enemies to fly straight into the air, like just shove them out of the atmosphere. It's well balanced, I'm sure.
I mean, you know, Ratchet and Clank 2 had that black hole gun that just wiped out anything you shot at it.
Right? I mean, it doesn't need to have any sort of challenge. That's not what this is about.
Okay. I think we can work with this. Let's go around one more time. Back to KZ.
Hello.
KZ, tell me the plot of your game.
So, in the plot, we have Captain Blasto Jr. He is very cool. He saves people from aliens. And it is through an impending evil threat from another galaxy that he feels the need to get help. So he wants to travel back in time and gain power through getting his dad back, because his dad was a really big super Chad. So he goes back in time, but that fucks with the timeline a bunch and leads to a bunch of wacky levels, new enemies to fight. It's going to be crazy. And of course, you'll be able to play as both junior and senior in this game. So it'll lead to, different skills for them. A bunch of stuff. Happens.
Okay.
There's a dog.
Okay. I feel like a lot of those things had placeholder written over them in the notes, but okay.
No. There's a dog.
Dan.
Yes.
Describe the basic gameplay loop of your game.
Well, what we're looking to do is a bit less linear than the traditional Croc titles. We're trying to go big open world with it. Maybe something a bit more like A Hat in Time or Mario Odyssey. It's different worlds that are levels, just a singular level per that world, and you can go find what you think is fun to engage with. And of course, each world sets a lower limit than the maximum by a significant degree, say 30 or 40% of the collectible, before you can move on. So that way, you're never stuck doing something you absolutely don't want to do. This game is mostly about soaking in the joy and soaking in the beauty of the environments while also having fun, because the whole thing is doused in this fun sense of humor. It is, of course, a traditional platformer, but it's going to try something, a first for the series. It's going to feel good to play. I figured that now's a pretty good time to throw that innovation in. Croc will be armed with new abilities such as playing well and being good. Being good at moving and stuff. This is in my notes.
A bunch of buzzwords to me.
Hard to beat that. Dr. Aggro.
Mm-hmm.
I presume that Booger Man, a pick and flicks adventure, will of course be fully voice acted. So who will be voicing Booger Man?
John Mulaney.
Fuck, that's good.
God!
Fuck!
God!
What the fuck, man? What the fuck, man?
You're like, I'll get him with this one. Nope.
What the fuck, man?
Okay, Bob.
All right.
What form will Jazz Jackrabbit Fi's multiplayer component take, since you said it was going to cross over with Fortnite? Is it purely just it loads up the Fortnite client, or is there more to it than that?
Oh no, there's literally a gigantic cross-media event with Fortnite. So there isn't actually a single or multiplayer part of this game, but there you'll be able to play as Jackrabbit Skins, his wife Ava Earlong, and it'll have a reskinned map in Fortnite.
Oh.
So, Avengers Endgame, Rise of Skywalker, Jazz Jackrabbit.
Yes.
Yes.
Follow-up question. Will Spaz Jackrabbit be in this game, or has he been canceled for being ableist?
He might be canceled. We'll try not to talk about him.
We'll try not to.
He might make it into some comic. We know how bad we are at keeping track of what happened to those.
You said Insomniac was making this, not Blizzard.
Look, Insomniac's licensing this to Epic. It's going really bad.
Jazz Jackrabbit's age is 12, 43, and 810.
Well, normally this is where we would do drawings, but on a Kiwami episode, we changed things up a little bit. So, it is now time for the contestants to ask each other questions. So, KZ, you get to go first. You may ask each of your fellow contestants a question.
Aggro.
Yes, yes.
For your Boogerman pick and flicks adventure thing. Of course, if it's like a choose your own type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
For that first episode, that first little chapter thingy that you're doing, please give me, in some form of detail, 3 failure states.
Well, one of the first ways you could get a chapter reset game over failure state is to accidentally fall off of a chair and snap your neck while trying to get a necktie down off of a ceiling fan.
God damn it.
The second one is when you take a public bus into the city and get sneezed on by a suspicious foreigner and end up dying of a virulent disease.
Oh,
my God.
Third is lightning. You just get struck by lightning. There's a 28% chance it'll happen on any given playthrough.
we're in Leisure Suit Larry territory.
Oh. Well, all of those were very original, which is what I respect. That's the kind of authenticity that I hope for on an Armchair Devs episode. Now, I like to think of the future when we do these Armchair Dev things. So, Bob, what are your plans for post-launch support?
Oh, post-launch support. Always a good question. We will allow Cliffy B to tweet at us his ideas for what to put in the game.
The honor.
No.
And we won't listen to any of them, but we will pretend
thank
that
God.
that he has input from the original creator.
You see, it's about a dragon.
So yeah, we'll have 3 different sets of DLC. It's going to be 2 season passes worse. It's very strange the way they have this set up.
How much will each season pass be is a bonus question.
25 apiece.
Oh.
But that means you can buy each one individually
normal.
for $10 a piece. Which, don't think about it, that's like a better deal than buying the season passes.
No one wants to do that. They want it all now.
Right? They get it 2 whole hours early if they get the season pass.
Whoa.
I know, right?
Got to get my clout. Well, for Dan's question, man, am I fishing to find something here? Let's see. God, I got nothing on him at all. Who the fuck knows about Croc? Will there be any cool bosses? Maybe describe one of them to me right now.
So there's going to be a really big cat. He's fat as hell, and he wears
That's cool. I have a dog in my game.
and he wears a funny hat, and he'll roll yarn at you. Yep. It's going to be funny
All right.
because when you actually do get a hit in on the cat's hat, which every time you hit it, the hat goes further and further down on the cat's head, covering more of its vision. So as the battle goes on, the cat becomes less capable and goofier and starts running into stuff. As you continue to do that, it's really zany, the animations it has. And then at the end of the battle, you don't kill the cat. You don't defeat the cat. The cat just is its vision is completely obfuscated by this hilarious top hat, and it just runs off of the cliff.
Oh,
You really
no.
have channeled the energy of the 90s with everything you just said.
It's delightful.
It is.
Well, that's it for KZ's questions.
Thank
Bob,
God.
you may shoot your contestants next.
Dan, tell me about Croc's backpack.
Croc's backpack is going to have a number of tools to get through the game with, but it's going to be more specific to each world. You're going to collect some things and give them to some other people.
Very cool.
Yes. Some platformers do that, others don't. Ours is definitely going to do that because his backpack needs to do a thing. And we don't want to convolute the core gameplay loop too much. He's going to get extra abilities that'll help, like, a double jump or a really fast running speed from some shoes, that sort of thing. But, we don't want him, oh, now he's got a gun. We're not going to do that. That's not what this game is. That's just not what this game is. So it's mostly, as I was saying, the backpack itself is mostly about just carrying items from one person to another, and there's no upper limit on it. It's just like, oh, you finished this task, now you have this. There might be someone who wants that, perhaps.
Does your backpack upgrade?
Your backpack does not upgrade because it's basically like one of those bags of holding. It's just a pocket dimension on your back. You get other upgrades, though.
Okay.
Because we want it to be more visually stark, Yeah.
I understand.
That way people are like, oh, that's pretty cool. He got the bounce ring.
Sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
KZ.
Yes.
Tell me about the dog.
What about him?
Everything.
Oh, okay. So
at least his name.
on the okay. First off, name Gerald. It's a real cool dog. It's on the box art. Looks neat.
I'm not feeling his name.
You will see Gerald the dog occasionally, just hanging out, just hanging out. But when you beat the game, you will unlock New Game Plus, or as I call it, Dog Game Plus, where you play the game again. And every time a joke is said in dialogue, the dog will appear, kind of like Mortal Kombat, where you get the fucking whoopsie, it pops up out of the bottom right, or the toasty. The dog will appear there, bark, and the game will become 2.5% faster.
Okay.
And this will happen every time a joke is said in the game, to the point where the game will become soon unplayable.
That's really good. I mean, you're really letting the dogs out.
That's one of our trophies/achievements. Achieved when you get 15 barks and finish a stage.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Aggro?
No, I don't think I want to talk to you anymore.
That's fair.
You haven't even started.
Let's see. So is this game like a point and click adventure style game, would you say?
It is, for the most part, your standard video interface choose your own adventure that Netflix has done in the past. We have, however, augmented that somewhat with incredibly bandwidth intensive QuickTime events.
Oh, good.
To increase player immersion.
All right. So the full question, can you pick your nose?
Well, yes, you can pick your nose and your friends, but day one without the patch, you will not be able to pick your friend's nose.
Okay. That makes sense. That's totally reasonable.
Well, that's Bob's questions. Now, the illustrious Dr. Aggro will get to question his competitors.
Okay. Well, gentlemen, times have changed. Society's a very different place. So I've got sort of a theme to my questions. I'm going to start with Dan.
Sure.
In your revival title of the old classic Croc, Legend of the Gobos.
Yeah.
And now, see, as we all know, Gobbo is an Italian surname meaning hunchback. So I'm wondering how you can encompass morally selling a game that is so blatantly ableist.
Actually, you think that would be the case, but one of the first villages you go to, not only is there a diverse cast of characters, but there are many different levels of being able in the cast. You know, you are Croc, and you are helping these people out by helping them accomplish what they need and helping them get the care that they need. You know, Croc is out there trying to return things people have lost, like crutches and wheelchairs. You know, he's just out there trying to make the world a better place. And everybody's difference in who they are comes to make the story and tapestry of the Croc world much richer.
Okay, so you're infantilizing token characters. Understood. Asked and answered.
Just puts wheelchairs in its backpack.
I mean, yes.
That's all I've been thinking about.
Bob, video games?
Yes.
The cartoon animal mascot landscape is a very different place than it was in the 90s. What features does your game have to help ensure that the minds of our precious youth are not assaulted with the staggering depth, breadth, and type of pornography now associated with this kind of character?
Bob, I feel bad. I'm coming at you with a similarly malicious question.
Unfortunately,
Nice.
this is the state of affairs as we go forward. It is up to the parents to deal with that. We just package the game with a case of Mountain Dew and hope things work out.
Oh, shit.
Oh, a case. Shit.
I cannot wait to read the responses to that fucking tweet. All right. KZ Excellent.
Oh, no. Hello.
Intergenerational time-traveling gun violence. Support it.
Yes. This is a game for adults. And realists.
Oh,
When you play my game, when you play my game, which is Blasto Days of Future Bazinga, you're entering the red pill dimension for the man who wants to go their own way.
Oh, shit. I respect the chutzpah. All right. That's me.
Dan, it's your turn. I don't think you have a higher caliber than Aggro did, but you can try.
Bob, Cliffy B is a man with a lot of money who doesn't shut the fuck up. How are you keeping him out of the studio? I need your security plan right goddamn now.
Look, as I've said, we are letting him believe he can tweet at us and we will put whatever he says in the game as long as it's known to the public what he's saying.
What if your trailer doesn't match up with some of the things he's already said in his devout fan base of very level-headed people?
Those 10 guys, I think we can deal with it.
But he's got all the time in the world.
He does.
And he has a shitload of money.
It will look close enough to what he says.
Bob, if you don't figure this out, he will be the door greeter at your fucking studio.
It's okay.
That's why guns were invented, Dan.
We have guns and also people paid unnecessary amounts of overtime because they're shipped in from Epic Games.
Okay. That I guess that'll have to do. KZ,
He won't be able to make it through the cubicles if you have to build it into the lawn.
It's a hedge maze. He won't survive.
It's like, Jesus Christ. KZ, a question of clarification before I ask the important question.
Yes.
Is Captain Blasto Jr. also a captain, or is he some sort of dipshit?
Those the two options?
That's how it works in the
Oh
military.
no, I'm the
He's
meme
apparently-
with the two buttons.
He's apparently going like Captain Blasto Jr., so yeah, those are the two options.
My answer is yes.
You know what? That was satisfying. I'm good with that question. We're going to move on to Dr. Aggro.
Oh, fuck. I forgot I was still mad.
Dr. Aggro.
Yes, sir.
I need a fucking idea of the visual stylings of your game. Is it live action?
Oh shit.
It is rigorously tweened flash animation.
Oh, that's terrible.
We have such a goddamn low overhead cost on the production of this game. You would not believe the car I bought with the money we saved.
I was so afraid it'd be stop motion.
That's the Clay Fighter spinoff. Wait for it.
I'm not going to do such a thing. That is all the questions, Your Honor.
That was a lot.
Are we done? Who won?
No, sadly, we still have many segments ahead of us, Casey.
Shit.
Good try, though.
Now, it is time for you to produce the drawing
Fuck.
for your concept. And the prompt this time is the first level or area, if it's, not a traditionally level-based game, of your game. You're going to have 4 minutes, let's say. Starting right now.
Hey, Tosha, I'm going to need you to draw something for me. I'm just kidding. That'd be cheating.
Time. Let's start with Bob.
Okay, let me get it uploading. This takes a second.
Yeah, no, it's it's like I can't
geez.
just hit a button and then it's in the internet, you guys. This takes a moment.
Hold on, I gotta get my AOL disc. Like, come on.
Why isn't it loading? Furiously drawing.
I just don't know what's happening.
Oh, I've got to reboot real
Hey.
quick, you guys.
Please take your time, Bob.
All right, here it comes, guys.
Oh, well, tell us about this.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, it looks miserable, but you see, it's like a duality thing. The left side of the street is all the forest and natural environment like you traditionally see in something like Sonic the Hedgehog or early Jazz Jackrabbit.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
But there's this big warp portal here. That's what the circular thing with the ring is. Then that's where Jazz has come from. And then on the right side, you'll see it's like a mega city.
Oh, wow.
It's the cyberpunk future where there's just this mega city metropolis is half of the world and the other half is this forested green. And that's the general concept of the map.
Is it Cool World?
No,
Oh, okay.
it is not copyrighted.
Okay.
There are gems. It's not Sonic though.
Okay.
Okay. It's KZ's turn.
Sure. Let me. Where did I save that? There we go.
20 minutes past.
Here's my here's my level. God, I wish. Here's my level concept. As you can see here, this is the first level, zoomed out to give you an idea of the entire environment. Basic idea. So first off, we're in space. We're in space. You can see the moon glowing over there. We've got drop ships and attackers from the aliens from another galaxy. They're going in. We got Blasto Jr. over there. He's on the bottom left. The basic concept is these are floating platforms, and the idea is to get to the purple thing on the other side of the level. That is the time portal that they set up, but they unfortunately set it up on the wrong side of the area. So you have to go through this. This is the intro to set up going back in time. So you'll be going through that, jumping platform to platform, taking out enemies. We have a big green boss toward the end, making use of what I think is cool, grind rails. So you'll be using grind rails, doing some cool action-y stuff, blasting dudes, making jokes, potentially causing barks. And it'll be your nice, cool explosions, set pieces. It's a good way to get people really into the game at the start. We're going to put all our money on level 1.
Smart.
That's all the people play.
I mean, that's all reviewers play, which is more important, apparently.
That's the most important thing, is that we get those 10s.
Dan.
So, describing what the first level is kind of weird because it's an open world game. So, the scale is ridiculous to articulate in this amount of time. I wanted to focus on one of the most exciting set pieces of the opening world. When you get that wheelchair that's next to the house that the kid abandoned because an active volcano's next to it, you have to venture there dodging dangerous volcanic lava erupting from the volcano to grab this wheelchair. And, you can go in his house and see what a nice house it was before the volcano made them move away. And then you got to bring him his wheelchair. It's an important and exciting set piece.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
What Vaporcore album cover is this?
What do you mean Vaporcore album cover? It looks like something you get on Xbox Live Arcade Indies.
Oh, God, I think we did a What in Hell on this game.
Oh, God, it does. Well, that leaves aggro.
Doesn't it just? So, as previously described, this is the city bus event that takes place early on in the game. This is one of the first fully immersive quick time experiences where you have to dodge passengers sneezing as you roll back and forth between the 4 positions on the bus, 3 of which are passenger seats and 1 of which is actually driving the bus.
What?
You have to keep this up for a solid 2 minutes without your infection rate increasing to a point where you end up getting dropped down into a bad path because it's really a less fun part of the game where you just kind of sit at home and sneeze and then die.
Oh.
Oh, so this is set in America. Okay.
Yep.
It's set in every town USA,
Seems very topical.
Very current.
but not for any reason that would get us demonetized.
Right.
Yes. Well, I think I've got a pretty good idea of everybody's pitch, but I'm going to go around one last time and get one thing from each contestant that they haven't told me that they absolutely think I need to know. And Dan, you get to go first.
We are going to do our best with all the visual aesthetics and style to get as close to what people think of when they think of Spyro without it coming off as Spyro, which is why we got the composer from Spyro. This game is just going to be that, but with a very high fidelity, more modern gameplay feel. And that is something that we can talk about behind closed doors, but we're never going to say it. We will never own up to this.
Good. Dishonesty is a large part of game development.
Yes.
Swear he doesn't know what Twin Peaks is. He swears.
No. And you know what? I believe him. It'd be rude not to.
You shouldn't. They had to change the design of the main character because he looked too much like the guy from Twin Peaks.
Sounds like you're making stuff up on Twitter.
Why would you fuck him like that?
KZ, tell me something I need to know but don't know yet about Days of Future Bazinga.
All right, so obviously the whole crux of this plot is meeting the original Blasto, who was voiced by Phil Hartman. And this became a challenge when I decided that this is what I was going to do. But thankfully, we have figured out the best way to satisfy all parties involved, as Phil Hartman is dead. And we are not going to replace the voice actor. Oh no. What we've decided to do is license out and reuse clips of Phil Hartman speaking from a variety of movies and other programs.
Exciting.
And we have filled the script with dialogue. So you will hear Phil Hartman from Jingle All the Way, Small Soldiers, Kiki's Delivery Service, Three Amigos, and Coneheads. And this will help fill our game with dialogue and a strong script. Sometimes mid-cutscene, we will use like 8 or 9 sources, and this will ensure that we will not be limited by this unfortunate thing, and we will be brave, as somehow we will have managed to get a character, an actor into our game who has been dead for over 20 years.
What is the word I'm looking for?
Ennui.
Repugnant.
That's
There
what
we
the show
go.
is, yes.
Usually a video game remake only ruins one childhood.
Bob.
Jazz Jackrabbit will be voiced by Dan Gold, the voice actor for Gex. Why? And his counterpart, Ava Earlong, yeah, that's right, is going to be voiced by Felicia Day.
Oh.
God damn it.
You're like, this is my turn to shoot Feel.
We also managed to get most of the writing crew that worked on the Mystery Science Theater reboot.
Oh, come son of a...
I heard that's really good.
Yes.
Coward. You should have made Jazz Patton Oswalt. That would have hurt more.
The final boss.
Oh no, he's gonna be Damon Shell. I think that's the name of the villain in Jazz Jackrabbit.
What?
Yeah, he's like an evil turtle.
Yeah, he looked like Darth Vader in one of them. In this one, he's going to look
Devin
like
Shell,
Kylo Ren.
that's his name.
He's
That's
gonna
actually
look
not
like
funny.
Kylo Ren, but sound like Patton Oswalt.
Oh my
Yes.
god. Can I buy this?
Aggro.
By upgrading your Netflix subscription to the Pro Gamer tier, you will unlock the ability to take a photo of your child's face,
Oh no.
which we will then insert into Booger Man, a Pick and Flicks adventure as his new sidekick, Boogirl, who is voiced by Susan Sarandon.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess all that's left is the closing comments where the contestants really sell me on their skeletons, which hopefully have some form of flesh on them by now. It's been an hour. Dan Video Games, sell me on your Croc reboot.
Project name Croc Gobbler is going to be a delightful adventure where Kristen Schaal is the voice of Croc as she goes across all of these worlds and has a funny and zany adventure. It's not a gimmicky Netflix thing, and nobody likes those other two things, so you should absolutely choose my game.
Hey!
Bold. A bold statement full of confidence and possibly slander. KZ Excellent. You're next.
Blasto Days of Future Bazinga, developed by Spike Chunsoft, will be the greatest platform revival you've ever seen. Spanning multiple levels, different playable characters, and contains the dog, it will really bring out the core that you expect from a platformer with a deep story. Also, there might be a dog.
But, well, you said there was a dog, now
Might.
it's maybe. You're already
I'm feeling
walking back promises.
Feeling shaky here.
I'm talking about a second dog.
Oh,
The evil dog, not Gerald, Geraldo.
Bob.
Jazz Jackrabbit 5 will be the first good Jazz Jackrabbit game. It'll actually be a fun video game made by humans, and it will have a cuter dog than KZ's game.
Oh.
I'm gonna find you and cut out your fucking arms.
Yeah,
I'm gonna eat them.
Also, it's not vile.
Insomniac making a cute dog?
I know. They're good at that. I don't think anyone can beat them.
You look like the Lightning Returns dog.
Dr. Aggro, I need you to sell me on Booger Man.
Booger Man, a Pick and Flicks adventure is a wholesome, entertaining experience that will deliver a solid 14 hours of not actually having to raise your kid yourself. Also, since it's been entirely funded by Tencent, it will not only raise your Sesame credit score, it's actually single-handedly keeping your Netflix subscription from going up for the next 5 years.
Oh my god.
It also has 2 dogs and they play tennis.
Wait.
Fuck!
Pathetic.
I didn't realize we were in a dog arms race here. Jesus Christ.
I have to think on what I've been told. Excuse me. I have some feedback for our contestants. KZ,
Hello.
you were winning me over. Then you told me the developer was someone that it could in no way deliver on what you had told me.
What? That's my bit. I have to do this every episode.
Also, it would be better to recast Blasto than puppet Phil Hartman's corpse around.
But it will get us headlines. The family's okay with it.
So would killing puppies. What family? His wife killed him.
I'm talking about the children. Y'all think he didn't have kids?
Jesus Christ.
Oh, Also, yeah, I think she like shot him with a shotgun while he was sleeping. It was bad. We don't need to worry about that. That has nothing to do with our game.
I feel like it has a lot to do with your game.
We have a dog, Bob.
Dan, your game sounds really good. It's exciting to see a future where there is a Croc game that will feel good
Yes.
and not be a chore to play.
A bold vision, if I could say so myself.
Unfortunately, fans of Croc are likely to be insane, as few of them as there are, and they might hurt your game's marketing by saying that you're corrupting the vision by Croc jumping when you hit the jump button.
Here's what we're hoping for, okay? So it's being made by Q Games. People know that Dylan Cuthbert runs Q Games, and he used to work at Argonaut. We're hoping they don't actually know the timeline there, and that he has nothing to do with Croc.
Close enough.
Also, Guru Larry might make a bad video about your game.
No, what?
Yeah, whatever.
He loves Croc.
All news is good news.
That's what KZ's hoping.
Yeah. It's not a hope. It's a guarantee at this point.
I said all news is good news, not funding criminals with new games is pretty neat.
Bob,
Uh-huh.
your pitch sounds great in concept. Ratchet and Clank is a perfect model for a revival of Jazz Jackrabbit and making that franchise possibly good.
Uh-huh.
Unfortunately, you said Felicia Day was in it, and I'm sad to inform you we're in 2020, not 2009.
I thought it would still work.
Can you believe you did a Jazz Jackrabbit pitch? And the problem is that Felicia Day's in it, not that it's Jazz Jackrabbit.
Right? I know. Is she somehow
Yeah.
the worst rep than that?
I knew that was a
Yes.
fucking millstone as soon as he said it.
Yes. Aggro,
Hey there, sugar.
Bwah!
your pitch stunned me in how good it sounds. It's cheap. It has John Mulaney in it.
Don't remind me.
It's keeping my Netflix price from going up.
5 whole years. They'll be dead by then, so it's perfect.
Unfortunately, you also said it would look like a 2004 Flash animation, and that's a hard barrier to overcome. It's time to find out who will be reborn like a phoenix, and who will be sent back to the grave like a phoenix that wasn't reborn. It was broken. It didn't come back.
Phoenix down.
The winner of Armchair Devs, Kiwami, platformer mascots, is Dr. Aggro.
Oh, yeah.
This is bullshit.
If you had asked me who was going to win this, in no timeline would I have said, yeah, Booger Man will probably win.
He got the worst one.
I was mad I didn't get Blasto. I was gonna do some Duke Nukem Forever shit.
Somehow you took that grenade that I handed you and it was full of candy somehow. But Bob,
Yeah.
your game will still be made. However,
Oh, no.
Epic has insisted that it will only be available on the PlayStation Now streaming service. You cannot buy it or download it onto your PS5. You will only be able to play it through streaming. And they will not have a satisfactory answer for why this is the case.
Okay. That makes sense.
I gotta ask, would I have won if Croc was voiced by the guy who played Kenneth on 30 Rock? Would that have done anything for me?
God.
That sounds amazing.
Maybe. That might have put you over the edge.
Should have known.
Feel so very proud to have pitched a game that's this extreme and yet this wholesome and educational. And you can all suck my dick.
Bold words from a winner.
Would I have won if my pitch wasn't despicable?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I'd like to thank our contestants for their wonderful pitches, and I'd like to thank you for listening to Armchair Devs Kiwami. And remember, Kiwami means extreme.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Armchair Devs. Podcasts like this and Big Think Dimension are only possible with viewer support. If you'd like to help us in the fight for good content, please show us your support over on patreon.com/gbpodcasts, where you can also listen to the extended pitches that couldn't make it into this episode. This video was brought to you by the power of the legendary GigaBoots executive producers: Vincent Povert, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Dryzart, Red Blaze 27, and Texas Man joins Smash. Thank you for lending us your power, our executive producers. And also these guys. If you want to become powerful like our executive producers, then head on over to www.patreon.com/GigaBoots today.